Hey, what's good, y'all? Josh Mallet here, and we're back again with another video. I gotta be real, I've been super busy, but sometimes you get lucky and the bag chases you and not the other way around. Anyways, this is actually a really good time where I'm kind of burnt out of making music, making beats, where I can go back and look at some of my more recent work and critique it. Now, everyone's their worst critic, and sometimes that's a good thing. Being able to listen to what you've made and really make educated decisions on, what could be better, what could be worse, can really help you out in the long run if you don't have other people to critique your work besides clients. So we're going to jump in, and I'm going to show you 5 ways that I critique my own beats super fast without slowing you down. Let's go. Okay, you know what it is. We're in Reaper, and we're going to listen to this beat first. And the first thing you want to do, tip number 1, is listen to the composition of your beat. Is it a boring beat? A boring beat won't get you far. You really need to hone in on getting an interesting beat before you worry about some of the other details we'll talk about. So let's just spot check this a little bit. All right, I think that's a good intro. It's really leading in, it's building somewhere. And this was a Lil Uzi type beat, so I was kind of listening to that way. And I wanted it to have a building intro that would land strong on a verse section. Now let's look at this verse section. The first place people go wrong with verses is that they loop too much without introducing new elements. So let's just hear if I fell in that trap. Okay, not bad. I really think that I did introduce enough elements and interesting elements to keep the verse section moving and building somewhere. A lot of those little pauses in the beat are really cool. One issue I do have is I've been kind of relying on these like white noise transitions, and I think they work in a Lil Uzi type beat, but I want to start switching things up, finding more interesting ways to transition into these pre-chorus sections. So let's just check out this pre-chorus. All right, now we're in the chorus. All right, I think that's actually pretty cool. I think the transition into the chorus was really well done. And it takes that sort of building element just like the intro. So we're tying a lot of things together. And I think the chorus is interesting too because it introduces like that brighter synth. So it's really going to be like a vamp of some sort. But, that carries on to the rest of the beat. So I don't think it was a boring beat, but I do think there's some other problems. The first thing is we're going to use our ears and our eyes a bit. So let's just, number 2, do a loudness check and analyze things a bit. So, all right, so I have the Ulean loudness meter open, and this is going to let us see how loud the beat is. We can also use our ears to sort of diagnose what issues there might be. So let me play the chorus and then tell you a bit about this. So with numbers like that, I'd say my beat is probably too loud. So negative 7.5 LUFS integrated, you kind of want to be around negative 14, not negative 4, negative 14. So negative 14 is where streaming platforms are going to, start normalizing beats at. So when you go over negative 14, they'll actually start turning down your mixes. Now, if you're selling beats on a beat store, this isn't a huge problem. But if you're working with artists, it could be really hard to, mix a vocal into a beat that's that loud. So just be careful with that. And that's just something that you want to look at. But what it's actually telling us is there might be an element in this beat that's taking up too much space in the mix. So, tip number 2, check your loudness. Tip number 3, see if that's telling you anything. And pull up something like a spectrum analyzer or just use your ears. And we're going to see if there's anything that's an issue in the mix of this beat really quickly without getting too technical. So right here is where the bass is and the snare's hitting right above there. And we can actually see the 808 is super loud compared to like everything else. Even though we might not be able to hear it audibly, it's taking up a lot of space in the mix. And it's making this beat a lot louder than it should be. So maybe that tells us I'm mixing my 808s too loud. And if I actually balance them better, maybe I can get more volume, more clarity out of the beat. So that's just a quick thing you want to look at. You know, you don't want to go, you don't want to be a mixing engineer necessarily and go back in and tweak all this stuff unless you're really trying to sell this beat. But it can be something that you can keep in mind for the next one. And that's tip number 4. Don't get hung up on the details of your old beats. Keep making beats, keep making new ones. Even with the problems in this beat, this can be sold easily. In fact, I already sold it. So that means on number 5, you have all this information that you can apply and bring to your next beat. Now think, what can you do similarly and what can you do differently in your next beat? So this was a Lil Uzi type beat. Maybe in my next beat, I'll try a Lil Uzi type beat and I'll, maybe I'll use the same drums or something. Maybe I'll carry stuff over from this beat into the next one and speed up that process with a different composition, but a similar sound selection, keeping those notes in mind and getting a better beat from it. So those are 5 tips, just really easy. You can go through your beat and knock that stuff out without having to waste too much time. I hope that helped you. Please subscribe and leave a comment below on what you want to see next. I'm really thinking about in my next videos, I might start doing some giveaways of like audio gear like this AT2020, or I might go get some more interfaces, stuff like that. Because I got some good money coming in and I want to give back to you guys. So stay tuned and you might see that stuff in the future. Anyways, peace.